take your AR-15, your AK-47. We're not going to allow it to be used against our fellow Americans anymore. Hell yes, hell yes, hell yes. We're going to take your AR-15. Hell yes, your AK-47. Hell yes, we're going to take your AR-15.
Oh, hell no.
Hell yes, we're not going to allow it to be used against our fellow Americans anymore.
It must be Sunday night and the Sunday Night Live. Oh, yeah, it is, folks. It truly is. Welcome back. It is the Zoo. We are here, and this is going to be just a self-defense special, folks. Self-defense, huh? Let's see. What are we going to defend against? Well, let's see. Attacks on us. Let's see. Spiritual attacks, moral attacks, public attacks, financial attacks, right? Attacks on our family, our kids, our parents. Attacks on our cities, our counties, our states, attacks at the total government level from, well, the U.S. government, right? It is at war with itself, and self-defense is needed. And then we have international issues as well. I guess that should be a concern, right? Hey, but this is your show. It's the Zoo, Sunday Night Live, where we do super chat donations. That means if you want to say something, you can comment down below if you're a subscriber. And if you want to get on screen, if you want your question to be read to thousands of people, thousands will read it. The message will be carried out there. You'll be affecting the world. And that's really one of the cool parts that I've enjoyed, is I actually get to, well, reach the world, not just my state, not just this country, but the whole world has a chance to listen if they feel like it. No one's making anyone listen to shit. But if you want to be heard, this is where you can be heard, right? Right here. So if you have a voice you think is worth listening to, hit that super chat button, get your question, and we'll do it. It is Sunday Night Live. It's time for the Zoo. And let's start off with some defending our, decency, country. Apparently, and I don't know if you know, but apparently this was incredible when I heard this. There's a new neo-Nazi group. Did you know that there's new neo-Nazi groups popping up on left and right? I had no idea, no clue. Apparently a new one showed up called the Blood Tribe. Sounds a little violent, a little suspicious, right? It's a neo-Nazi group. They came with swastika flags. And where did they show up at? In Wisconsin? At an LGBT pride event. Now, this public protesting thing, I have said is it's bullshit. It's childish antics. It's throwing yourself on the ground, kicking and screaming, looking for public attention. Folks, we know that the public doesn't give a shit. They're either fully in belief of what they want or fully in disbelief of what they don't. The only thing that matters is getting the attention of politicians. You don't get attention from politicians by throwing yourself on the ground, kicking and screaming at a protest in a park. And you don't get attention by standing outside their office trying to harass them on the way in. They're just trying to get in and they're just avoiding people. They're in self-defense mode. It's when they get in their office, sit in their desk, start sipping their coffee, or if they're like Hunter Biden, smoking their crack pipe. And then they get their emails, their messages, their phone calls. That's right. They get faxes and they get smoke signal message, whatever way you choose to get a hold of them. You know, like email comments and text messaging are probably the most effective. But then they're ready to listen. While they're running from their car to the office, they are listening to shit. And they're not going downtown to a park to listen to protesters go, I never really realized that sign was so smart. They don't give a shit. So what is the neo-Nazi gang, Blood Tribe, doing? Are they, you know what it looks like to me? It looks like Patriot Front rebranded. Rebranded federal agents. They're dressed so similar to Patriot Front. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Guess what they're wearing? Guess what they're wearing? They're wearing khaki pants. How many times do we have to see khaki pants wearing federal agents with masks on their face, right? Wow. They've tried it, folks. They've tried infiltrating the Proud Boys. They've tried all kinds of stuff. And this was their chant. Are you ready? Us or the pedophiles. There will be blood, blood, blood. Right. When I grew up, folks, and when I was young, neo-Nazi skinheads, they were some really rough people, covered in tattoos, and they didn't go looking to protest at parks and parades. And if they ever showed up at a pride event and had a problem with it, there would be people bashed about. But this group, they had rifles and flags, as well as their khaki pants. And it's ridiculous to believe for a second, right, that this is a real, how do we say this? A real group that's come out, that's well, just decided to show its face all of a sudden at a time when the federal government needs a distraction and needs to paint, portray, represent Republicans as neo-Nazis and white supremacist skinheads. It's almost like the FBI doesn't seem to really understand a fucking thing about anything. Incredible. All righty. And here we are. Here we are. What do you want to talk about? It is Sunday Night Live. We're going to start off. We got a nice super chat donation from Chin Music with a 2223 super chat donation through Venmo. That's right. We got the super chat button up here, donation button. And then we've got Venmo, CashApp, and PayPal. And that's how you support this channel. And we make sure we get to next month and get to the next month and get to the next month. They're trying to kill us, folks, trying to knock everyone out of the internet. So there's no voice except people like Patriot Front or, it's just ridiculous. Anyways, thank you, Chin Music. Hopefully, folks, the world wakes up and realizes we're in a self-defense moment. We've got to defend ourselves against being portrayed as similar to these fruitcakes out here. It's a Fed frame-up job. Okay, Jolene, let's do Chin Music's super chat donation comment. He says, what the fuck is happening? No one is minding the store. Look what is happening in California that no one seems to be talking about. Headline, secret COVID lab linked to China discovered in California. Incredible, huh? Absolutely incredible. In lower central California, in Fresno County, folks, Fresno is a shithole of a place. I've got family that lives in Madera. It's when I say shithole, it's because it's hot there. It's hot. It's out of the beaten path. It's right on 99, Highway 99, close to I-5, but it's Fresno, folks, Fresno. Still, it's America. It's in California. It's in the Central Valley, agriculture. What the hell? Seriously, what is it? Why does China have a lab there? It's incredible. How is that so? Literally. And there's more to it, right? There's more to it. This lab wasn't just a Chinese biolab. They had over 900, almost 1,000 mice in this lab. Oh, well, there's always mice in labs, sure. Except these mice were genetically engineered to not only catch, contract cerveza bug, but to carry it. In other words, they're little germ factories. These mice are engineered to catch and carry. When it comes after that, spreading cerveza bug. Now, why does that sound so familiar? What is it about rodents and disease One of the biggest epochs in history of disease was called the Black Plague. The plague was a disease carried by rodents, folks. Rodents, mice, rats, rodents. They carried Black Plague all over Europe, and it killed millions and millions of people at a time when there were just millions of people, not billions. The Black Plague was awful, and it was spread by rodents who caught it, carried it, and gave it to humans. And here we have a lab in our country with this kind of crap going on. It is time to fight back against this. Someone needs to be held liable. What the fuck? Does some scientist just wake up one day and go, you know what, I'm going to start working on disease-carrying rats and see if we can make, who would think it's a good idea? It's a good idea to genetically modify rats to carry this stuff, because that'll somehow help humanity. How the fuck is that going to help humanity? That's weaponizing rodents. Again, just to mirror, mimic, imitate the Black Plague and how it was spread. Folks, it's hit the fan. We need to stand up and yell, not at the cameras at our mainstream media. They don't give a shit. Not down at Central Park or the city park. That doesn't do a bit of good. You're just going to go argue with donuts. People, they got a donut, like it's just the information goes in one side and out the other, just like a donut. What's the point, right? Politicians, your state politicians, whoever was running this lab, whoever was working at it needs to be arrested and charged with fucking war crimes for making weaponized rodents. It's just unbelievable. I'm glad it came out. I'm glad it was exposed. I'm glad it's been caught. Fuck. Wow. Just off the hook. And not just one or two, 1,000 of them. Why do you need 1,000? Isn't one or two or a dozen enough rats to experiment on? Nope, let's do 1,000. Because then we can have those rodents infect another 1,000 rodents and see how it works. We need, hey, let's have more rodents interbreed with more rodents. Let's have 10,000 of them. That'll be a good experiment. Well, here's the big news, is if you live in California, were they planning on releasing those rodents in Los Angeles, San Francisco, Portland, Seattle, and just cover the West Coast in COVID? Well, what do you think? What do you think? I tell you what, that's just it. That is just it for me. Oh yeah. It's just unbelievable, folks. And by the way, cerveza bug, we got a problem there. Guess what? Guess what's going on with that? I'll give it to you. Hold on. Let me get this straight here. There it is. There it is. Let's hammer this one home. We got to fight back. It is self-defense time. Everything they do is to do it to you and screw you over. Shit has already hit the fan. Folks, food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine means of self-defense. It has hit the fan. They started. Well, as far as I'm concerned, it hit the fan when the banking system collapsed in September of 2019 with the overnight repo lending. The banking system was collapsing. They had to throw a bunch of money at it. Then they distracted us with cerveza bug. And they locked the world down. And then they said, well, now you need the Jim Jones juice, right, to protect you from that. And they threatened us and they lied to us about that. We also had that's right, folks, the next year, 2021, we had the J6 election crap. More shit hitting the fan. They've got to keep this going to keep us scared, distracted, fighting one another, and we need to fight back against it. Well, they got rats coming out, mice coming out with, well, the ability to catch and carry and spread cerveza bug. And they're genetically modified. Does that mean if they reproduce that they're going to produce more of those? Or is it just the genetically modified ones in the labs? So anytime these mice show up in public, you'd bet they're coming from a lab. Did this one lab in Fresno? Well, was there a lab in Denver? In one in Dallas? In one in Aurora, Illinois? In one in Cleveland? In one in Albany? One down in Miami, Atlanta? They have them all over the country, and that they're just going to drop rats, mice, wherever they want and start spreading this shit. Well, guess what? The CDC, that's right, folks, the Centers for Disease Control, has a new recommendation that they're going to finalize for you. You bet. Sometime, I don't know, in September is what they're saying. Early September, though. Americans should receive, this is what they're going to say. Americans should receive their annual Jim Jones juice booster to protect against cerveza bug. That's right, folks. Annual Jim Jones juice is to be expected. And the CDC director, oh, no, not just the CDC director, the new CDC director. Remember, Walensky just quit. And so we have a new one. And on her way out the door, Zelensky kind of hinted at not believing the government. Isn't that fascinating how she benefited from her job, but when she's ready to quit, she kind of said, you need to wake up, America. You need to pay attention. Question authority. So the new CDC director takes up the Biden booster flag and says, you need to be protected against cerveza bugs. So here's the quote, folks. Here is the quote from Dr. Mandy Cohen. That's C-O-H-E-N. That's an interesting name, Cohen. So Dr. Mandy Cohen, guess what country she's from? We're just on the precipice of that. So I don't want to get ahead of where our scientists are here and doing that evaluation work. But yes, we anticipate that cerveza bug will become similar to flu shots, where it is going to get you your annual flu shot and you get your annual cerveza bug shot. Oh yeah, they want you to have annual everything. So the CDC headquarters in Atlanta is letting us know. And I want to know why. Why does anyone need a booster? Explain why. They can't explain. I love how it's our scientists are here and doing the evaluation work. I feel all fucking warm and fuzzy now. Woo! All right, folks, you hit this button right up there, super chat button, donate button, get your comment down below with it, and we'll read your statement, question, comment, prediction, prognostication, your peek back in history. What do you want to talk about? Ooh, man, I know we got a super chat out there. Who do we want to talk to? Who's up first? And it's Brad Jones with a $2 super chat. And he says, discuss coming cashless society, please. Well, I'll tell you what. They're pushing for cashless society. They've been pushing for a while. I need to start the show off with a shot of scotch. You'll have to pardon me. I got to wet the whistle and tune up the gears upstairs. If you want, $50 super chat donation buys me one of these as well. All up to you, but first down the hatch. Oh, good stuff. Bam. Cashless society. We've been looking at that for a long, long time. It's been discussed since the early 90s. So here we are 30 years later. They wanted to get the RFID chip planted in your hand so that they can scan you, so that you don't need credit cards or debit cards. They've wanted it for over 30 years. Why? Why do they want a cashless society? Well, the reason they want it is so they can control us. So they've had this technology for 30 years, right? The same as your chipped credit card. It's got information on it, who you are, how much you spent. They want to know everything about you. But this new system they're talking about, the CBDC, central bank digital currency, the Fed coin, as I've liked to call it for the last, I don't know, 7 years, 6 or 7 years I've been talking about it. They've been wanting to do this crypto or cashless electronic banking system that doesn't use dollars. It's crypto dollars. It's Fed coin dollars. It's different than the paper dollars in your wallet. They spend the same, or they're supposed to. But what's it all about? Well, not only can they track every single thing you do, and let's just say you buy too many guns, too many bullets, you travel too far. They can keep track of your behavior, what you're doing, and determine for themselves what you think, whether or not you're pro-government or anti-government. Right? How many people would say, you know what, John, I'm not going to support your channel through super chat donations because I don't want the federal government to see that I support someone like you who's willing to speak up and encourage people to protect their country and their rights and fight back, to resist, to offer an opposing opinion. People are afraid, so they back off. They step back. They're like, hey, it's okay. We're just going to be cool with this. That's exactly what they want to do. They want to chill free speech. At the same time, they want to kill your free speech. But that's another question to answer later, free speech. They want to let everyone know we're watching you. Big Brother is watching, and they're waiting, and they're wanting to punish people to make an example. So they want a cashless society where they can shut your money off. They can send someone to your door, knock on your door and say, hey, we just want to talk to you about your habits. It seems like you support alternative perspectives too much. You're not buying the government line, the propaganda we have. We really need to talk to you about that. Yeah, that's what a cashless society is about. Control, control, control. It's a great topic, Brad. Thank you very much. And now we got Jolene, super chat donation coming right up. And it is Luke Thompson with a $5 super chat. He says, what is your all-time go-to meal? Well, I tell you, this is a tough one. It's a tough one. And I appreciate it, Luke. You might enjoy this. There's two. There's probably two, but I'll give you the all-time go-to meal. I'll give you the runner-up first because I like you, Luke, and you've been a great supporter of the channel with your super chat donations every single Sunday. And folks, we're already, just in the first few minutes, up to 300 people live. Hit that address up there, the internet address, share it with people. Hit the thumbs up right now. Do it now. Hit the thumbs up, please. It tells YouTube this. So hit the thumbs up. Is this to YouTube? That tells them that this is an appreciated broadcast. All right, the runner-up for all-time go-to meal is pizza. That's right, pizza. It's got some carbs in it, which are simple sugars. That would be your crust and bread. It has, well, sauce and cheese, which has animal fats in it. It has some meats, which is animal fats in it, and like a combination pizza. It's basically between the sauce and some bell peppers, and right, it's almost a salad. That's vegetables. So you got your meats, fruits and vegetables. That's good stuff. But the all-time go-to meal is the big, fat, delicious, real 100% all beef hamburger. You have, once again, some carbs with your bread. You've got tomato, lettuce, pickle, onion. You've got eggs in there in your mayonnaise. You've got ketchup, once again, tomatoes, mustard, which is just one of the world's greatest condiments. And you also have, well, did I say cheese? There's your dairy products. You've got beef, real red meat, and you can also throw bacon on there. Some people get crazy with the burger and actually put egg either in the meat or, hell, fry an egg and put it on top. But the hamburger, folks, my number one all-time go-to. It's surf and turf. No, it's turf and turf. It's got all of the barnyard in it. Everything you can grow at home for yourself is right there in a hamburger. It's just easier to buy a hamburger than to harvest the flour and grind the flour and make the flour into bread and buns. Anyways, good stuff. Great question. Thanks, man. I really appreciate that. That was kind of fun. Now, President Trump is out there, folks. Like him or not, and I am more inclined to support and like the president than not, because he pisses off Democrats. And yeah, it's causing this country to split, but is it? A lot of people are like, he's a lightning rod causing trouble. Really? So what's he saying? Make America great again? How fucking wrong is that? Not a bit. Not a bit at all. Nothing wrong with make America great. What else does he do? Does he say, oh, let's see, prosecute crime. Get us out of war. Shut down our borders so we don't get invaded daily, monthly, folks. 250,000 people a month coming across. Thanks, Biden. And he's confrontational because the confrontation has been brought to us by the Democrats. That's why I'm saying this is a self-defense video. You can't pretend like nothing's happening. You cannot at this point any longer allow it to continue and just say, oh, it's fine. It's not bothering me. It doesn't affect me at all. Really. From disease rats to disease rats coming across the border from Mexico and the rest of the world through Mexico. Anyways, Trump threw another Make America Great Again, how do we call this, rally. He's out there, Erie, Pennsylvania. And he actually stood up and called Joe Biden, quote, dumb son of a bitch. And that's what Joe Biden is, folks. Not only is he a dumb son of a bitch, but he is selfish, greedy, evil, unprincipled, anti-American, on top of all the other things that President Trump has called him. And I agree with him. He is a dumb son of a bitch. The entire Democrat Party is, folks, they're brain dead. Yet look at them all. We are being run by an idiocracy, period. What can we do about it? Well, we need to stand up for ourselves. Truly stand up for ourselves. I mean, this is the Democrats, right? Let me give you their policy. Let me give you their belief system. This is why you need to be prepared, folks. Go to thepreparedmind.club. That's our website, thepreparedmind.club. We don't sell anything. What we do is tell you where to go to buy the things that you might want, you might need, that you don't have yet. Whether it's communications gear, self-defense gear, food, medicine, power, you name it. There it is. Thank you, Jolene. thepreparedmind.club. I need you to go there to get the things you need to be prepared, because listen to this insanity. And this insanity is what prevails. This is what Democrats love. This is what they want. A murderer, folks. He killed his own 2 children. And he is a tranny, a transgender, a transsexual. And he is in jail for murdering his children. 2 babies. He killed 2 of his babies. And he's going to get breast implants in the woman's prison he is in. And you are going to pay for it, because that's what Democrats want. They want to cut population. They want transgenderism. They want prisoners to get taxpayer paid for transition, surgery, drugs, etc. Who with an intelligent mind? Who? Tell me who with an intelligent mind can vote Democrat? How can anyone vote Democrat and then turn around and go, oh yeah, that's the smart thing to do? How is that even remotely smart, intelligent? How is that? I can't do it. It is incomprehensibly stupid But that's the world we live in. We just cleared 300 people on our way up. I'd like to get to 400 people, folks, live right now. By the time this video is done, we'll have thousands and thousands of people having watched this. But we do this every Sunday live, and I want you to hit the subscribe button if you're not already. I want you to hit the thumbs up if you haven't already. And I want you to hit the notification bell also if you haven't already, so that anytime we do a video or put information out, links, you get notified. It tells you, hey, here it is, man. It's more of that kind of stuff. The what the hell is going on? I need to be prepared stuff. All right, it's the zoo. This is where your super chat donations make you famous. Well, if you don't want to be famous, you don't have to, but people will hear what you have to say, see what you have to see, think what you have to think, and think for themselves. What's more intelligent? Putting people in jail who are criminals, like Hunter, Joe, Paul Pelosi, or should we give tranny fruitcakes an excuse and play into their ridiculous claims that, well, I was born with testicles, but I'm actually a woman, so everyone needs to supply me with the medical change I need? Isn't it interesting how many of these fruitcakes are in prison for murder, attempted murder, and all manner of crimes, especially against children and their own families? Mental health issue much? All righty, Jolene, who do we have next? Who wants to step on up and take a crack at what the hell is going on? And it's Orlando with a $5 super chat donation. Thank you, Orlando. Great hearing from you again. Orlando's another great supporter, sponsor of the channel. He says, hey guys, just here showing support for my Prepared Mind family. And it is, it's important. And I thank you very much, Orlando. Support one another is a great message, right? Who is on your side? Who is on your team, right? Do you think the government's on your side? It's a good question to ask. Is your local government helping you out? Your local police, sheriff, are they on your side? I sure hope so, but are they? That's a good question. Are they? What about at the state level? What about at the federal level? Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Who's on your side? I don't count on any government. I only count on those who think like me. In fact, I asked that question the other day of someone just to have some fun. I said, if someone slaps you on the cheek, what do you do? And they're like, turn the other cheek. I was like, no, you do not. You defend yourself. But the Bible says you turn your brother the other cheek. I said, if your brother slaps you on the cheek, turn the other to him, right? Well, if someone doesn't think like me, and if someone doesn't act like me, they're not my brother. They're not my sisters. Because my brothers and my sisters don't do that kind of shit. Remember, folks, if they're not like us, they're not one of us. Americans love America. Democrats hate America. How can they be your brothers and sisters? I think it's a fair question to ask. All right, let's do it. Jolene, I know we got more super chat donations. What do we want to do? Who wants to step up next? And what do we got? We have, drum roll, it's Brad Jones again with another $2 super chat donation. He says, any concerns about the big one, earthquakes, etc.? Yes, always concerns, Brad, always concerns. You want to talk about earthquakes? I got your earthquake. Earthquake is a California, Oregon, Washington State, Alaska type thing. It truly is a worldwide issue. Right over in Japan, we got the Ring of Fire, which is the entire ring through the Pacific, all the way down into Indonesia. Earthquakes are big. They can be predicted within, I would say, a couple minutes. And if there's a bunch of tremors setting off, you might get some advantage to the warnings. But they come upon you really quick. For the most part, the big one, bam. Volcanoes also tend to give us some warning, right? They may take longer than anything else to kind of develop, right? Mount St. Helens, for example, an American earthquake, also on the Ring of Fire, started to get hot. The snow started to melt. That was a big one. big catastrophe. And hurricanes are also the big ones, right? I was just down in Fort Myers a few weeks ago, checking things out with Man, Nikki, and some more prepared-minded people, right? Some yeah, bug out there. It was a great trip to take a look around. And I enjoyed, of course, hanging out with everyone and Brandon and all. It was just awesome. But checking out what a big one does. Hurricanes, you see them coming from about a week out. You just don't know where they're going to hit. So all we can do is be ready for any of that. But I think the biggest threat any one of us have, it's not really about any one of us, it's about all of us. The big event is caused by government. It's allowed to exist by government. Like the concern about assassination, precisely or more precisely, like assassination of a president. It's not something that happens. It's something that's allowed. It's allowed to happen. Security has to be let down. And in the case of the St. George Floyd bullshit, the protesting was allowed to get out of hand. In fact, it was encouraged by none other than Democrats. So my concerns, Brad, are about weather or earth type events, earthquakes, tsunamis, tidal waves. Oh, up in the heartland, we've got tornadoes, right? We've got all of that natural disaster stuff. But we also have man-made catastrophe, which can affect all of us. And they do. Yes, they do. All right. I've got that. And I want to say Darcy T has checked in with a $50 super chat donation. Thank you, Darcy. So I'll pour another Glenlivet 18 right out of this bottle right here. And I want to thank you, Darcy. She says, good evening, John. No question, just some dough. Thanks for keeping on. I'm going to keep on keeping on, Darcy T. Thank you so much. And I wish the same for you and wish you the best of luck in everything you're doing where you're at and dealing with life's, shall we say, challenges. Semper Fi, Darcy. All right. That's a great donation. Darcy loves to check in and just surprise the heck out of everybody. And I hope women seem to understand, most of all, the importance of the Second Amendment. Without it, you're at the mercy of thugs, gangs, brutes, bullies, and rapists. We have to be armed. Jolene says Kaz and Vaughn are both in the chat. Well, send those guys a link to come on to the zoo. Anyways, I want to talk about being armed. It is time to have self-defense as a priority. Number one, self-defense. Folks, if shit goes down, if we have a big event or any event of any size, you need to be able to get back to where you're going or head to where you need to be. Here's an example. In Texas, someone stole a man's truck. That's right. Someone stole a man's truck. He got pissed off. He tracked them down, and a big event happened. This happened, folks, in San Antonio, Texas, of all places. Right? Of all places, San Antonio. That's near where my mom lives. That's just good news, though. Good news for my mom as well. Right? There were two people sitting in this stolen truck. Right? There was a man in the driver's seat and a woman in the passenger seat. Well, the truck owner, right, decided he was going to approach the truck, and he demanded that the thieves get the hell out of it. Right? You fucking car thieves, get the fuck out of my truck. But instead of doing that, the driver of the truck, who is called by the media the alleged thief, no, he's sitting in a stolen vehicle that just got, anyways, right? This driver decided he was going to do something really stupid. He pulled out his gun and he decided to shoot the truck owner who was outside the vehicle in cold blood. But very quickly, the truck owner, the man who not only had his truck stolen, but then was shot, decided he was going to return fire in self-defense. He ended up killing the pile of shit thief in the driver's seat and injuring the woman who was also there, who may have been and may have had a weapon and was equally intent on killing him, right? San Antonio Police Chief William McManus called this a case of self-defense, because it is, folks. And in Texas, this is perfectly legitimate, perfectly legal, that you have a right to defend yourself if someone's trying to fucking kill you. Now, the chief of police also said that the man should have contacted law enforcement instead of approaching. And I'll tell you what, I had wheels and tires stolen off of my Jeep back when I was in my early 20s. I left my Jeep overnight next to a gas station, next to a tire shop that me and the boys used to hang out at and work at. And I showed up and my Jeep was on blocks. It was on blocks. Someone stole the tire. I felt fucking pissed. I was just irate that someone had the balls to fucking do that. And I went looking. After I found out I wasn't being pranked by my friends, I prayed I was being pranked by my friends. And they're like, nope. And I went and I started searching the local neighborhoods, and I found all 4 of my tires underneath a van in the road. Someone took the tires and just slid them under their truck in the middle of the road. Well, I called the sheriff and got him out there, and I got my tires back. But I wanted blood, folks. I was pissed. If someone stole the whole vehicle, I can see, right, why you would want to walk up and deal with these people yourself. But this guy was willing to commit murder over stealing a vehicle. That just goes to show you where they're at in their heads these days. Dangerous to do that? Hell yeah. But people are getting tired. They're starting to defend themselves, defend their property, sticking up for themselves, sticking up for their neighbors, their families, their kids. It is time for self-defense. Not being stupid, but self-defense. And self-defense includes telling the government what they need to do. Folks, you need to be prepared, right? Because when government fails and crime takes off, when government fails and allows or causes shit to hit the fan really bad, guess what? It's going to be you and you alone. That's what's going to happen. All right, Jolene, let's have it. Bring it on. We have a new YouTube member, is Kelby RVA. Thank you, Kelby, for joining up here. We've got lots of different ways to be members to support the channel, and it is all appreciated. Thank you, Kelby, very much. Kelby also contributes on a daily basis, or whenever she feels like it, by being a preparedmind.club or subscribestar.com member. There's a lot of different ways to support freedom, liberty, being a patriot, and being prepared. And I'm really proud to have everyone here encouraging my message, which is stand up for yourselves, for women, for your family, for your kids, for your parents, for America. It's a patriotic message. It truly is. Now, in New York City, one of the least patriotic places on the continent. I mean, it battles with Chicago, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Portland, Seattle for the top billing. They all want to be the worst shithole in the country. But hey, I got a little story here for you. In New York City, a cabbie was beaten viciously by a bunch of punks, thugs, criminals. So this cabbie's now pissed off. Why is he pissed off? Because of the thugs? No, because of the no bail system that allowed his violent attackers back onto the streets. No bail system. Everyone, you're just free to go. Commit all the crime you want. And so the cabbie had this to say, folks. He had this to say, quote, send the mayor the video. That's right, there's a video of it. Send the mayor the video and tell him to die with the shame. Folks, fighting back is self-defense. Fighting back against politicians, shoving back, pushing back. Don't do anything illegal, harmful, or dangerous, but telling them what to do. Obey your oath. Obey your oath, you pile of shit. If you got a Democrat, if you got a Republican, obey your oath and be a patriot for your country and stand up for the people who voted for you, not voting or standing up for corporations that fund you, but the people. The people. All right, let's do this. Let's move on. We're at 45 minutes and ticking away. It is a special Sunday Night Live Zoo time, and it's about self-defense. Jolene, who wants to step up next? Who has something to say? And it's Luke Thompson with a $50 super chat donation. And there it is, folks. The super chat donation glass with the, that's right. It's a 30 caliber slug in it. And it goes to show you how bulletproof scotch is. Luke Thompson, thank you, sir, for that great donation. Semper Fi, Prost, Salut, cheers. God bless America. He says, John, I know that you have given enough $5. He says, I know that I have given you enough $5 super chats. For a brand new bottle, here's $50 to have a drink on me. Peace, love, and heavy weapons. Damn right, Luke. Heavy weapons, sir. I love it. That is just that makes me happy, and it makes me all warm and tingly right here in the heart, and also the stomach where that scotch just hit. Peace, love, and heavy weapons. That really is a great way to approach life, folks. And I think Luke really just shared with us a piece of wisdom that is powerful, right? Want peace in your life. Have love in your heart. And for your enemies, make sure you have heavy weapons. I think that is just brilliant. Folks, people that are doing wrong, doing evil, they know what they're doing. It's no accident. If they see that you have peace and you want that, if they know that, love is in your heart, you're a good person, they're going to try and victimize you. That's why you have heavy weapons. That's what the Second Amendment is about. Protecting our country, ourselves, our families against evil. Against evil. Thank you, Luke. That is just freaking brilliant, man. Well done, sir. Okay, Jolene, next. And we got Kelby RVA back with a $10 super chat donation, our newest YouTube member, and is also a paid subscriber. Kelby is supporting this channel on every single level. Thank you. She says, thank you for all you do, John. I tell you what, I am me. That's what I do. That's what I do. I just come here and be myself. And I love the fact that so many of you are similar enough to me that you want this message out there, that you support it. That you support it. Be sure if you just tuned in, hit the thumbs up. Be sure if you just tuned in, hit the subscribe button. And pay attention, because there's going to be more great topics coming up. Every Sunday night, we do about 2 hours. 2 hours. There's been a few times, I think we've got 3 hours and 45 minutes. That usually involves a lot of super chat donations, getting me blasted drunk out of my mind as we wind down. But we end up talking the whole time about everything that's happening here. Everything. There is so much going on. You cannot run out of topics that have to do with why you need to be prepared, why you need to be in good physical shape, why you need to maintain the best health, the best perspective, why you need to be ready. What are our concerns about? Oh, we have a lot of concerns, folks. A lot of concerns, international, national, and local. Worrying about our parents, our children, our grandchildren. Everything, folks. Everything is super critical, super important. Jolene, where are we going next? You tell me. You tell me, and it's Brad Junes again with another $2 Super chat donation. He says, food advice and storage. Any concerns? Yes. Yes, yes, and yes. We get comfortably positioned there. Here we go, Brad. Food advice. Make sure you have at least 2 months worth of food supply. Now, if you got 2 months or less in stored food, if something goes wrong, if food supply is interrupted, my recommendation is you keep that to yourself. If you have a 6-month food supply and you got a food interruption, the bridge burned down, there's riots, there's a problem, something's going haywire and people around you can't get food. Well, if it's not SHTF Mad Max, you might go, you know what, I can help people out, right? Having extra food is nice to help people out. And if you've got a year's supply, it's great. I left a lot of food supply at the RMZ, and I'll tell you why. When I came back to the mainland here in America, in the United States of America, the place I left was very poor. It had a lot of homeless people. It had a lot of poor people. They had food supply issues. And I had shipped in a lot of food to make sure I had food. But there we go. Thank you, Jolene. Food storage at thepreparedmind.club. Again, we don't have a warehouse. We don't have a bunch of money and a bunch of inventories. That's not how we operate. We just direct people to where they can get things. I was at the RMZ, and there were just a lot of people in need. A lot of people in need, and I wanted to give back to them, right? And say, people, right? This whole COVID crap and bullshit has hurt your area, hurt your people. You better learn to stock up and get food. It's not a joke, right? And everyone was realizing that. Yeah, we need to get ready, because when America takes a dump like it did during Cerveza, the whole world suffers. So when America takes a dump on itself, right? How are you going to take care of yourself, your family, people around you? You can't do it unless you're prepared. And the way you get more prepared is to tell your neighbors, your friends, your family, hey, why don't you do yourself a favor and store up food? That's a big concern, is having enough food if things get stupid. I think that covers it. Get prepared. And again, the other thing, don't just buy bags of rice. Right? There's a big push for rice. There's an issue with the Hindi rice market, and so they're going crazy trying to get it. People, kind of like with our COVID, people decided they were going to stock up on toilet paper. I need 120 rolls of toilet paper. Wow, that says a lot about your cooking, I guess. Anyways, the point is right, you need to have what you need, and we need to help others realize they need to be prepared. But if you're going to have food, have more than just rice. Right? Try and have balance and variety. It's one of the things I learned in the jungle. Have as much variety as possible. It helps. Have spices. It helps. And also, finally, I'll leave it on this. Have canned meat. Right? Any way you can, whether it's tuna fish and Spam, which is back at my Prepared Mind bunker. I've got a lot of that. You can also get turkey and beef and chicken and everything in a can. Get all that you can. Protein. You can't live on rice, folks. You can't live on rice. You've got to have meat. We're humans. We're omnivores. And it's very important. Okay, let's step up a little more. Let's see where this next one takes us. Jolene, what does the world want to talk about? Oh, my goodness. It's Shelly Chavers. And we've got this. We've got this, Shelly. There's that. Oh, and here we go. Another $50 super chat donation. And that right there, that's mother's milk. We'll put that bad dog down there. Looks like that'll last maybe the next week. Thank you, Shelly, for all you do and your support every week. Salud, cheers, prost, and semper fi. Ooh. Smooth. Okay. Shelley says this: if you had woke family or friends that turned against you during these end times, would you be able to eliminate them if they threatened you and your circle of family and friends who do understand what is to come? You're asking about me personally. And this is a really interesting question. And this isn't just the alcohol talking, folks. You said if I had woke family or friends, and I do, who turned against me, and they have, would I be able to eliminate them if they threatened you? So what you're asking is if family or friends in a Mad Max moment threatened me, or my family and friends that are near me. The answer is yes, I have to. I actually feel that people that know us and hate us are more dangerous than strangers, because they know you, they know what you are, right? Let me do it. Let me ask you the question this way, Shelley, and this is a very serious topic. And I'm going to do a what if, for instance, example. If I am confronted by three guys, and they're right in front of me, and they're talking a bunch of shit, and I know I'm going to get in a nasty, hairy fight, and I'm probably going to get my ass kicked, who is the first one I punch? The littlest guy, the skinniest guy, or the toughest looking guy? Maybe the guy with the biggest muscles, or the hardest jawline, or the most boxed in ears so he looks like he's been fighting? Or do I knock out the little skinny guy? Well, it's got to be the tough guy. You hit the strongest one first, because you know, right, what's coming, that he's going to put the most hurt on you. If you can, you take him out. And then you take your chances with the skinny guy and the weak guy, right? Because you know who's going to give you the hardest time. If I've got three people in my front yard standing there, and one of them is a stranger, and the other one is a stranger, and the third one is a friend or an acquaintance, if you will, and they're all three threatening me, you can bet your ass that the person who is an acquaintance has a better idea who I am and what I'm capable of, and they're going to be more inclined, right, to take action based on what they know about me. They're the most dangerous of the three, right? And the other two probably know. They're like, hey, Bill. He says, yeah, what is it, Tom? So Bill and Tom are talking. They're like, Fred knows John. Fred says John's this or that, whatever Fred would tell, the other guys. So they know a little about me, but they're getting their information from this guy. If he's the first one that gets whacked, gets taken out, guess what? The other guys, right, they've got some bigger questions to answer. And this is just really an awful situation to consider. I don't talk about this with glee. I mean, who wants to put yourself in the situation where you've got that? Who wants to be in that place? I don't. But a lot of people have been in that place. They are in that place. That's where they're at. They don't like it, but that's where they're at. And if I didn't do something about someone who, right, threatens me, right, he pulls a gun on me, you think, it's not a good situation, right? Friend or family, woke, Democrat, POS, evil, right? They're not there because they love me. They're there because they've decided I'm their enemy, right? So they're going to be doing and thinking the worst things possible for me. And it's a situation, again, that I don't relish the idea of happening, and I don't want to happen. And I've had friends decide they don't like me anymore for a number of reasons. I think we all have. It's like, what happened to Bill? I don't know. Everything was fine last week. Now Bill's decided he doesn't like everybody. Well, does Bill go one step further and decide that, well, shit has hit the fan, I'm going to go do something to, Uman and Vaughn and John? Is that how this works? Well, people are fucked up in the head, folks. If they can't think right enough to see that a tranny is not a good thing, if they aren't smart enough to see that the open border is a good thing, if they think, right, we should be teaching kids about gay sex in school, they're not right in their frickin' head. If they think we should be, I don't know, I mean, name any Democrat policy now that makes no sense. That's how they think. Do you think they're going to make sense when they turn their big giant pea brain on you? No, they're not. They're dangerous. So if they turn against us, and they have, and threaten us, threaten our friends and family, someone's got to do something. And those are going to be very difficult times. The answer is yeah. No. I know what's coming. I can see that. Right? And you and I, we won't be the first, Shelley. We won't be the first to have things like this happen. If things go really shitty, they go sideways to a massive degree. Ask yourself this, right? Are you going to be the very first one, or will you have heard about, right, either on the news, on the radio, or with your own ear? Pow, 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 pop, right? You know shit's going down. And if you know that, let's just say BLM is marching through your town and you start hearing gunfire, you know shit's going down. You know woke idiots have pushed their luck, threatened people, committed acts of violence. Look back at the footage of 2020, where those idiots were going through neighborhoods, trashing people's houses, threatening them, waking up with bullhorns, shining lights in their windows, tearing down people's American flags. Right? They're going downtown, they're shooting explosive fireworks at police, setting police stations on fire, police cars, murdering people, murdering black people, right? Committing arson, destroying businesses, lighting businesses on fire, burning them to the fucking ground, looting the shit out of everything. These are the people you don't want in your neighborhood. So you'll hear it. And then at that moment, I think, is when we all realize, oh shit, right? It has hit the fan, right? You reach, and right now, wow, my EDC, my everyday carry, is just out of reach. It's a whopping 6 feet away. Everything I own is about 6 feet away from me right now. It would be go time if that happened. It'll be scary as hell. Okay, let us continue. Thank you, Shelley, for the great support. As always, much appreciated, and you offer great questions and thoughts to everyone. Brad Jones is back. Food advice and storage. No, it's Italian hillbilly. He says, and learn to hunt. What? Oh, under food advice and storage concerns, learn to hunt, learn to fish, learn to hunt. I'll tell you what, though, in my opinion, based on my experience, deer know when it's hunting season. They're not stupid. And hunting, what percentage of the population do you think hunts? A very small percentage hunts. Small, SMall. And the population that hunts, not everyone gets a deer. I mean, some people, they go out and hunt every weekend for weeks on end, and they can't get a deer. Isn't that interesting? Hunters that know how to hunt still don't get their deer. How are they supposed to live? Support themselves, feed a family, feed a neighborhood, if they can't even get a deer over the course of hunting season? Now, I know a lot of people, they can get a deer every day. Well, we're just talking about averages. Now, if 1% of the population hunts and can barely get their tags filled, I have this question to ask. What happens if the other 50% of the population decides they're going to hunt and fish? Well, we'll be hunted out of deer and fished out of fish in no time at all. So the idea of hunting, if you're in a rural area, it's more feasible. If you live in a suburban area, and folks, the deer live in suburbia, it's just going to be slimmer pickings. But I do recommend, if you're in a rural or extremely rural area, learn to hunt. If you aren't a hunter, learn what animals live about you, because there's your food. Yum, yum. That means you're also going to have to not only learn how to hunt, you have to learn how to gut dress your game. You have to learn how to defer them, get the meat off the bone, make sure everything is good. It's not so glamorous, right? You always see the hunting pictures with the guy next to the big deer, and he's like holding the head up in the rack. You know, the deer has little X's on his eyes. He's like, all jacked up. That guy's got to drag that frickin' deer back to the truck, right? And then process it. It's hard work. We live in very fortunate times where we can go to the store and all of our hunting has already been done for us. And it's right there on white styrofoam wrapped in saran wrap for us, making our lives significantly easier. But bad times, you do what you have to. And think about human beings. What is easier to do, Mr. Italian Hillbilly? Go out in the woods and hunt and find some game, or go into a neighborhood and hunt in your neighbor's fridge, yard, house, garage, etc. Right? You will be a hunter, but you'll also be the hunted. My concern is more about surviving the idiocy of people than trying to figure out what food I want to have for dinner, because I'm a prepper. That's the topic. Good stuff to discuss. Thank you, sir. And Jolene, I think we got another one, do we not? Yes, we do. It's Chin Music checking in again with a $19.99 super chat donation. And he says, John, I think it's obvious by now things will never be the same. What are you saying, man? Are you saying this is the new normal? Just completely retarded Democrats in our country going to shit? Well, I tell you, you're probably right, man. Anyways, Chin Music continues. He says, it requires a shift in thinking in order to navigate this mess. All right, Chin, let's see this. It does require a shift in thinking to navigate this mess, this economic mess, this social mess, this government mess, this criminality mess, this invasion from the southern border. There's a fucking mess. In fact, that's a quagmire. And he says, we're going to be forced to make some unappealing decisions, unfortunately. I agree. We're going to be forced. I don't want any of this crap. They, the government, and they, the Democrats, and they, the criminal scumbags out there, they're the reason that you and I, all of us, are facing our troubles. There is no reason for America to be in the situation we're in now. Not a bit. If we stick to our basics, fundamental restricted government that operates within a budget, accountability for government, when any official, elected or appointed or otherwise, breaks a rule, screws up, they should be held accountable and thrown in fucking prison, if not executed for treason. That would stop a lot of the shenanigans, would it not? That and our independence from the rest of the world should be maintained. Yes, import from here. Yes, export to there. But we've turned over our entire industry. Massive percentage of our industry is overseas, in Indonesia, Asia, China, India, Mexico, Brazil. We've turned over our manufacturing power to the rest of the world. Now this country's weakened for it. Who did that? Patriotic Americans know this country needs to be rebuilt from the inside, and we need to kick out the disease. So Chin ends with saying fitness and skills. That's right. Fitness, physical fitness, physical fitness. Yesterday I was out doing physical fitness, walking in waist deep water against a current. Physical fitness. Why? To build endurance and strength, balance, and a little bit of fun time in the water to boot. I'll tell you what, skills. What skills do you have? All skills start up here, folks. And then it's practicing with your hands. Whether it's self-defense skills, meaning hand-to-hand, right? That's a good skill to have. Self-defense skills using freedom seed spreaders. That's a good skill to have. What other skills do you have? What other physical fitness? Chopping your own firewood for heat and cooking. Right? I'm down here in the South where it doesn't get into freezing, but still having firewood is a good thing to have. Takes the chill off the air. Right? If you're down in the 40s, it's a lot better to be in your, have the temperature in the 60s in your place. There's a lot to having fitness and skills, folks. Is cutting wood a skill? Yeah. Understanding what trees to cut, how it works, but it all starts with the prepared mind. Cooking is a skill. Cooking is a skill. And if you're not in good enough shape because you've been lazy and sloth, well, then get in good shape. If you're not in good shape because you have an illness, an infirmary, right? You're old, aged, and you just can't do what you used to. Then what do you do about that? Then you set things up. You use this to ensure that the skills you have work with the situation you're in. For example, I like paddleboarding because it physically challenges me and it conditions my entire body, literally from my toes to my ear muscles, right? The Opie Cunningham ears. It's a physical skill. It teaches balance, core, but it's not, how do I put this? It's not high impact on the joints. I do like resistance training, weights, but I also like that, right? So, I mean, let's just say, well, John, I can't go out on a paddleboard. I don't have the type of endurance. You can get a paddleboard and you get a little motor on it to help you get around or to help you get back. Say you're exercising and all of a sudden you can't do anymore. There's ways to stay in shape. Fitness is huge. Having skills is huge. Keeping informed and understanding what is going on out there is huge. How many people are like, holy cow, the hurricane got me? Really? The hurricane got you? It's just snuck up on you. You didn't hear about it. Well, I didn't know there was going to be a food problem. Really? You didn't know about the food issues, the fuel issues, the energy issues? People are like, the power went out and I haven't had power for weeks. Have you ever heard of a generator? Being prepared here keeps you prepared everywhere else. You know, prepare, here's another one, part of training, fitness, and health. Be prepared for difficulties. If it's not a risk that could make you very ill and kill you, turn off your power for the weekend. See how you cook food for the weekend. See how you deal with no air conditioning for the weekend. See how that works. Toughen yourself up, train yourself, get skilled at dealing with adversity. Anyways, a great topic, and I want to thank you, Chin Music, for the excellent support. And you're always here with us, man. All of you are always here. And I love it. I love it. All right, who's next? Jolene. I know we got more. And it's David Clinton with a $52.23. That's a $50 super chat donation. Woo! And a $2.23 to boot. I love it. That means it's another one of these. And I tell you what, I'm going to sleep like a baby tonight. Here we go. Another one. Uh-oh. Rolled the dough a little too thick. That one got a little bit supercharged. Mr. Clinton, thank you, sir. Uh-oh, that one may not make it through tonight's show if things keep going this way. Cheers and God bless America, David. Semper Fi. A little too much. That is just smooth. All right, David Clinton says all roads lead to Obama. Joe must pardon his son to protect himself, and zero. Here we are, folks. Here we are. All roads do lead back through Obama. I'll put it that way. Through Obama. There's the Democrat Party. Then there's Joe. Then there's Obama. But there are those above Obama. He is himself a very useful idiot, but he's also an incredible toy, puppet, servant. But he is committed. I believe he totally is committed. Obama is. I think he's committed, folks, to hating this country. In fact, you heard about Obama's chef drowning. He went paddleboarding. Apparently, he didn't take the Prepared Mind safety course, which is don't have a relationship with a Democrat and then piss them off. He pissed somebody off, folks. Obama was at the golf course, and well, he's got a gloved hand and an ungloved hand, and oh, wait a minute, his ungloved hand, he had bandaged fingers. That's interesting. That's totally interesting. I wonder if Joe has already pardoned Obama for whatever crime he's committed. Yeah, he was a. This is great. This came up also. This accident, right? Obama lost his personal chef and friend. I didn't know this guy was a friend. Now he's a friend of the Obamas. Folks, friends, when you're dealing with fruitcakes, usually implies some nastiness. Some nastiness, especially with people like Obama, who loves pizza and hot dogs, who likes to have pizza and hot dogs shipped all the way from Chicago to his parties that he's held in the past. I don't think that I want to let that story and idea die. I think it needs to stay fresh. Not just the idea that there was some sort of interesting relationship stuff going on with him and Michelle, and right, but also this former past love affair with food that they shared with the Podestas and the Clintons and Hollywood and Holly Weird and the rest of them. All roads lead to Obama through all of these things, and the Clintons. And Joe, this question still comes up. Can a president pardon himself? Well, hell, maybe he can identify as someone else and then pardon that self, right? Identify, that whole identify. I identify as, yeah. But he can pardon his son. He must. He needs to pardon and forgive everybody and protect themselves, because that's what they do, folks. They're not all about this country. They're about themselves and fucking things up. They truly are. Okay, Jolene and David, thank you again for the great super chat donation. Yeah, keep an eye out. It all leads back to the Obamas. All righty, and now we've got chin music again. Holy cow, another $19.99 super chat donation. We got chin music. He says, your car, food, guns, money, your children's genitalia, religion, barbecue pit, gas stove, language, culture. That's a partial list of things the left to take. We just want to be left alone. What can't continue won't. All right, we got some thoughts here, Chin. Let me sort them out. The left wants to take all of these things, and this is just a partial list. They want to take your car. right? They do. They want to take our car and our fuel, your food. They want to take your food and give you bugs, give you sludge, some sort of bio goo made in a chemical factory. They want to take your guns. Oh, you bet they want your guns. They want to take your money. Yeah, have some CBDC. Have some fake money that they can control. They want to take your children's genitalia. Yep, population control. And if they can turn your children against you, they will. They'll take your children's mind from them and turn them into little fruitcake foot soldiers. They want everything. They don't just want our children's genitalia, chin. They want everything. They want their minds, their bodies. They want to sterilize them. They want to take our religion. Oh yeah, they can have Satan in school, right? But you can't have prayer. Oh no, but they can have Satan's clubs in school. Oh yeah, they want your religion. You can't believe what you want to believe. You have to believe what they want to believe. They want you to believe, right? I mean, what kind of thinking is this? Where does that kind of thinking come from?
Could it be Satan?
Exactly. Barbecue pit. That's right. No burning wood. No, you don't get to cook. No. And you don't get to cook on a gas stove or have a gas heater. No. They want to take your language. Oh yeah, language. What are you talking about? They want to take it away and give you crap. They want to give you gutter speak. They want to give you, ghetto filth. There's your language, but don't say any words you're not supposed to say. That's right. They want to censor everything you have to say. They want to take the proper use of the English language from you. And they want to take words out of that proper language so that you go from this to this. And if you read George Orwell's 1984, they talk about language, how the government, and this is a 100-year-old book, folks, how the government continuously takes words out and says you can't speak that anymore, so that you're left with fewer and fewer and fewer words, and you have fewer and fewer and fewer thoughts. They take away your First Amendment, they take away your Second Amendment. They take away the word protest. You're not allowed to protest. They take away the word object. You're not allowed to object or use the word. Vote. There's no such thing as voting. Voting isn't true. Gender, there's no gender. It's whatever we tell you you are. They take away the language, folks. They take away your culture, your traditions, your belief systems. Everything about you they want to take away and replace with their substitute. That's right. They want to substitute your culture, your traditions with theirs. What's their culture? What is their culture? Their culture is fruitcake culture, folks. Well, let me give you a little taste of this. And thank you, Chin Music. Catholic students protested drag queen story hour. Guess what? They're just protesting. This is why I say don't protest on the street. All you're going to do is run into a fight with a bunch of retards. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't fight with these people. Don't argue with them. The only people you need to be dealing with are politicians and telling them they're the source of the problem. They're allowing this illegal, immoral, anti-culture, anti-American shit. Drag queen story hour should be a fucking crime. That's what it should be. At this point, it's a crime because they're trying to groom children. That's exactly all it's about, is putting fruitcake sexualized geeks in front of children so they can talk about their penis and sex to groom children. Anyways, protesters, Catholics, people who are culturally conservative, morally decent. I'm not saying I'm a Catholic. I don't promote the Catholic religion, but I know they're decent, good people, unless their name is Pelosi or Biden, of course. They were hit with spray painted by lunatic left-wing activists, pro-drag queen fruitcakes, spray painted students who wanted to protest. There's two lessons in there. You're dealing with idiots. Why protest? Actually, I think, let me reverse. I'm going to take this back. In the event there is a drag queen story hour, it should be protested by anyone who lives locally. Anyone and everyone should protest that and cancel that business, cancel that library, cancel that organization for doing something that disgusting. Going to a park, though, and protesting against another parade or something. But these fruitcakes that want to groom children, they need to be protested. I think everyone needs to know, well, business XYZ, they are for child grooming. And maybe you don't protest the fruitcakes, fruit salad, ding-dongs, but you protest that business and put them out. You want to fly a rainbow flag? You're for child grooming. You need to be protested and shut down. Fly that rainbow flag. You are for everything that everyone in that group wants. They want minor attracted person recognition. In other words, they want pedophilia legalized. They want children sexually groomed and told, hey, you can cut off your genital. They want that. They want it. That's what they're all about. They are. That's what they want. I think right now, folks, at this moment, a drag queen musician is #1 on iTunes Christian album. Did you know that? The Christian album chart on iTunes has a drag queen as the #1 artist. How is that even fucking possible? Right? And guess who the person is? It's Flamey Grant. And the single is Good Day. Really? Right? They had a spat, a fight with Christian musician Sean Fuke. And Fuke tweeted this: if you're wondering the end goal of the deconstruction movement in the church, then look no further than former worship leader Derek Webb's new collaboration with a drag queen. These are truly the last days. Yep, it's about destroying the church. That's what it is. That's what's going on, folks. Folks, people that hate morality, they hate God. And any attempt that they make to discuss morality is a lie to deceive us. That's really what this is. These people are sick. They're perverted. They're trash. Thank you, Chin Music, for getting me riled up, man. We're at 90 minutes into the show, folks. 90 minutes, an hour and a half out of 2 hours. We've got more super chat donations. I have barely been able to talk about anything I want because you guys have taken this show and said it's yours, and you're going to talk about what you want, and you have. So let's do it. Let's step it up. What is next? Hey, it's Diorce. Half man, half horse. It's Diorce. And he's not really half man and half horse. It's just a name. He doesn't identify as that. In fact, I saw some fruitcake ding-dong in Japan has surgically altered his body so he can fit in a collie, a dog, a collie like Lassie, a collie costume. I think he cut his legs off at the knees, literally. What a fruitcake. Anyways, Diorce, let's get him back up here. He said, did you hear about the explosion that ripped through a homeless encampment in Seattle? I guess that was a retaliatory strike amongst the fentanyl drug dealers when an alleged $80,000 got stolen. Yeah, $80,000 in fentanyl that got stolen. So Diorce has done a super chat for 12 and then a super chat for 2 to make sure it was understood. Yeah, I did hear about and I read about this explosion in a homeless encampment. Interesting. The homeless people, and most of them are a little bit fucked up in the head. They're crazy. There's something wrong with them mentally. They've got mental issues on top of drug issues, crime issues, theft issues, prostitution issues, human trafficking issues, et cetera, et cetera. Wow. Yeah, there was a huge explosion and firestorm. I don't know what happened, folks. I don't know if we're going to get to hear what happened, because the mainstream media likes to protect their street warriors, whether it's BLM, the homeless encampments, Antifa. They do. They protect them, folks. They want them there. They need this destruction. They do. I love the fact that New York City and Chicago are screaming mad about the, well, illegal immigrants. Let's be frank, they're illegals that are being shipped to them. It's like they have all the homeless people, they got all kinds of crime, but now they can't take just a little bit more, right? Well, because they're supposed to put them up in hotels. They're supposed to take care of them and feed them. The homeless feed themselves on the street. The gangs feed themselves on the street. They find their own places, their own rocks and bridges to sleep under. But we got to treat these illegals like kings. Crazy stuff. And $80,000 got stolen. How many people died in that encampment explosion? I'm going to tell you a good little story, though. I got a good story. You're going to like this one. Back in the late 90s, I worked in the oil industry. And in Sacramento, California, Sacramento's called River City. It's similar to Pittsburgh, which is also a river city, and that Sacramento has a lot of rivers coming to it and through it. It's got the San Joaquin, the Cosumnes, you got the Mokelumne River comes down, the Feather River, the American River. Got all these rivers coming into Sacramento and merging and then going out into the Delta. A lot of rivers coming out of the Sierra Nevada mountains and then down from Shasta as well, the extreme Northern California mountain ranges. So you've got all these rivers, and they've got levees on the side, basically big berms to hold the rivers in place. Otherwise, Sacramento would be a swamp, literally, like Washington, D.C. Anyways, they realized that these rivers every now and then would blow through a levee. And that's because they were originally made because the Army Corps of Engineers dredged the river bottom to make them deeper. And they put all the sand and the dirt on the sides to create the levees. Well, they're rather weak and they break. So they said, okay, we're going to cut through the middle of the levee, get the mound, cut through the middle of the levee, and basically pour a giant cement wall 100 foot down and key it into whatever bedrock they can or serious cobbles. That was the idea, to basically build a cement wall through the middle of the levees to protect them from blowing out. So I'm near the downtown Sacramento area, and there's this company, it was called Geocon. And they had these giant tractors with huge arms that would dig straight down and just dig out these levees. And I went to that boss and I said, hey, Tom, I said, how do you keep these homeless people from fucking up all your tractors, trucks, trailers, equipment, and everything else? He said, well, if you look at that tractor over there, and I looked over, he said, there's some spray paint on it. He goes, they vandalized that one tractor right there. So I went down there and told them that if they ever touch another one of our fucking tractors, I'll come through their camp with a D8 Caterpillar and just level it. And I'll tell you what, Tom was the type of guy that I think would have actually done that. He would have protected his property and his company's property and gone down through their encampment and just shredded it to bits. He was an interesting cat. I love real Americans, right? You screw with me, you get fucked up. Now, again, I can't encourage anyone to take violent or dangerous or harmful or illegal behavior, but that was an interesting story. And by golly, he must have done that because they didn't steal, rob, destroy, vandalize, or even spray paint another piece of equipment. All right, let's move on. I love that guy. He was actually, really good to do business with. Nice guy. And honest Americans, folks. They're the best. Okay, let's do it. Let's do some more super chats from you guys. We got Brad Jones with $2. He says, having trouble donating more. Thanks for the show. Brad, you do great all the time, man. No worries. You've done fabulous. Everyone's done great. And I want you, this is incredibly important. Share that internet address up there. Hit the thumbs up button, right? And subscribe. There's a subscription button. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. Down below. Down below, we've done great. We've almost tapped 400 people live, and we're floating just below that. But by the time this show is done, we'll have had thousands of people watching this video, and your questions, your comments, your thoughts are making a huge difference. People are waking up. I got a great story in a video sent to me the other day. A friend sent me this. He goes, John, look what happened, man. I talked to this guy, and now he woke up. He red-pilled someone, folks, and the dude's like, I had no idea this shit's going on. There's people out there that have no idea that this shit is going on. All right, who do we got next? Ooh, man, Jolene. It's Shelly Chavers back with another $10 super chat donation. And she says, what significant event will lead you back to the RMZ? The RMZ, folks, 3 years ago in October, it'll be 3 years. The RMZ was the jungle, undisclosed location, where I had, I got raw jungle, and I cleared it out, and I had help, of course, in the form of tractor and truck. I had tractor come in and level things out. I built a deck, had a tent, big 22-foot. It was 22 or 21 foot. It was big. It was a bell tent that I turned into a yurt, built a frame. I had solar power, had all this stuff at the RMZ. And I realized I needed to be here in America, that I couldn't stay there. And it was a very interesting experience for me, having to survive in the jungle. Right? I think I did videos on how to collect water. It's in a tropical area, so it got rain just about every night during a lot of days. Sometimes too much rain, but still. That rooster, right? That fucking rooster I dealt with gave me headaches until I figured that out. But I had solar power, and I had water collection. I had some good neighbors in the jungle. I had thieves in the jungle too. Taught me some great life lessons. It taught me about me. It taught me about people. It taught me about what I needed. I thought, I don't need anyone on this planet. And when I was there, I was like, boy, I really like the fact that I can, on a scale of, 1 to 10, how much do I need people? Like a 2. I thought it was a 0. Turned out I need people like a 2. I need some interaction with people. And I'm partially tribal. How do I feel about crime? How do I feel about social miscreants? How do I feel about culture? How do I feel about people's ethnicity, the tribalness of them? I'd love to go back to the RMZ and stay there, but this is my country, and I want to see it back to normal. Let me tell you what would lead me back to the RMZ, Shelley. That if our country was restored, our republic restored, law and order was restored, that shit hits the fan. When I say it's stand down, if we stand down, if shit hits the fan is canceled, right? The World Economic Forum is defeated, globalism is defeated. This country is restored to its right place. The flag is revered, and the rainbow flag is never to be again. If the southern border is protected, if war is something that we don't search out every day, right? This is what I would love to see, Shelley. I'd love to see, and I would say, I'll go back to the RMZ forevermore, right? If America again leads the world as the most free, right? I would love all of those things to happen. That would be fucking significant, wouldn't it? right? If we had real money again, not just paper money instead of central bank digital currency, but money that is based on something sound, gold, GDP, right? If our money or the value of our money was based on our gross domestic product, that makes sense, doesn't it? What does this country produce? That's how much money you should have. And the government has to live within its means, a balanced budget that's enforced, that politicians go to jail all the time, anytime their criminality is discovered. Yeah, that's law and order. I'm asking a lot, Shelley. I realize that. And I realize that. Life is interesting. It's worth living, and it's worth fighting for. Freedom. Without freedom, you don't have shit. You don't have shit. Right? Without freedom, well, you have nothing but shit. Look at what happens to countries where there's no freedom. Look what happens to certain people, right? When when a government is allowed to exercise its prejudices. And that's what we have, folks, a government that's exercising prejudice against us, whether you're Christian or white or Republican or straight, patriotic. Our government is now exercising discrimination against us. Thank you, Shelley, very much. Who is next? Who wants to step in into the ring, into the arena? Who has something to say? And it is Alan Van Cleef with a $20 super chat donation. He said, John, it's been a long time since we have heard you speak on finance and precious metals, BRICS, which is Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and the deterioration of the fiat dollar. What is your latest views on this bad situation getting worse? Blessings. Thank you, Alan Van Cleef. I'll tell you, I just spoke a little bit about something that would say, hey, you can relax, John. You can retire. Go jump in the hammock at the RMZ, right, with your mini fridge and your solar panels and chill out. Drink a couple of beers a day. Go hunt the chickens. But yeah, one of the things I talked about, Alan, was our money based on something real. Gold and silver is what our money used to be. That is constitutional money, right? Gold and silver, constitutional money. These are great questions tonight, by the way. I am so glad that we have all of you back. These are fabulous freaking questions. All of them. I barely got to touch stuff I want to talk about. Gold and silver are constitutional money. They're real. They have value. Gold is used and held as the one of two, right, assets that the global banking system says are real. US dollars, they say, are real, and gold is real. I think the world is having second thoughts on US dollars being real because they're not based on anything. But banks hold gold, and gold is used very minimally industrial. Silver used to be money, and now it is just considered an industrial metal, but it is going to become a strategic metal as well. Silver is a huge problem in the world because it's thrown away, it's wasted, while gold is 99.9% held. Nobody throws away gold. It's recovered, etc., because of its value. Silver, I think, is in a lot of ways more valuable than gold because it has industrial use, because it has industrial value, technological value. It also has military industrial complex value, but it's treated almost like it's copper, which is fucking insane. And it's becoming more and more rare and scarce. Now, finance and precious metals. If I told you that our money was going to shit, that, as Alan Van Cleef points out, that we have a deterioration of our fiat dollar, our paper dollar is deteriorating. And I said, you need to keep your wealth protected by buying lead. And I'm not talking about bullets in this case. just plain old bars of lead. Would you take your money out of the bank and go buy bars of lead? Well, you'd be like, no, that's a lot of lead I would have to stack up. And then how do I trade lead for a loaf of bread or a pound of eggs, meat, cheese, whatever you want to buy? How do you trade lead for that? People don't have a lot of value or faith in lead, even though it's an industrial metal, right? So gold and silver, people know what they are, and they consider them very valuable. You can stack copper. Copper, it's only an industrial metal, and that's it. That's all copper is, an industrial metal. It's not really a monetary metal. It doesn't even get used for pennies hardly now, except to basically all pennies used to be 100% copper. Now, basically, it's a electroplated penny, right? It's zinc with a copper electroplating. Anyways, money is how we measure our worth, our value, our time. Time is money. Money is time. Your time gets turned into money when you work. The more valuable your work, the more money you get for it. You can have a pile of money here, and that's how you point to that and say, I have saved my time. I've worked, taken it, and now I'm saving that. That's a savings. So I don't need to buy bread every day. I only need to buy bread once a week. So I have a savings of money. Right now, the money, this paper money, is deteriorating. Inflation. It disappears every day. You put a little money on it, build it back up, and it disappears again. Every time you put money in your pile, it's disappearing. Well, that's different with things that matter. Buying things that matter and storing them, keeping them. Food is one of them, right? Food. You can store food and it lasts a long time, years and years and years, if you buy the correct foods. And you can eat them at any time. They have value. You can trade them to others. Other people need it, would want it. Right? Ammunition for your gun. That type of lead, right? Brass, copper, and lead, and then cold blue steel. That has value. You can turn that money before it evaporates. By money, I mean the fiat dollar currency. Right? You can buy ammunition. And then you can turn around and sell it later. It's got value. It's wanted. But for people who have more wealth, they have, let's just say they have all of the food they need and water. They have shelter. They have clothing. They have all the medicine they need. They have all the self-defense that they need. They've still got a little pile of money. What do you do with that? Well, you can do what you want. Leave it in the bank. Leave that money in the bank. It just slowly evaporates. 10% a year? 20% a year? Is that what you want? Is your effort to evaporate? Man, I worked 1,000 hours, but after 1 year, I only have 800 hours worth of value for the whole year. And on top of that, I got to pay the fucking government 30%. 30% of my work disappears because the government wants it. And then what's left disappears. Gold and silver. It's a way to store your energy, your value, your worth. I think we've got a link. On the preparedmind.club that'll send you to SD Bullion. I like SD Bullion the best. I've also worked with Miles Franklin. I've worked with APMEX, the American Precious Metals Exchange Company, over the years. But I like SD Bullion the best. And I think we've got a link to them on the preparedmind.club. Maybe Jolene can put it up there. There it is. So, gold and silver. If you have everything else taken care of, I say look into it. I can't tell you what to do, no financial advice. Do your research. But the silver dollar, 1 ounce of silver, used to be worth $1. Funny how that works. Silver dollar, $1. Now a piece of silver, if you want an American silver eagle, you want to buy that? $40. $40 to buy an American silver eagle. 1 ounce of silver minted by the U.S. Mint will cost you $40. $1 versus 40. That's a big thing, right? It's a big difference. Why is an ounce of silver worth 40 times more now? It's because the value of the dollar has gone down 4,000%. Or you could say the value of silver has gone up 4,000%. Right? You can buy Canadian silver a little cheaper. You can buy old U.S. coins, quarters, half dollars, and dimes. Dimes are the most commonly sought after constitutional money that are actually silver. Silver dimes, silver quarters, silver half dollars, silver dollars. Right? So you got all the different denomination sizes. Gold is very expensive. A gold piece initially was 20 bucks. $20 gold piece, right? 1 ounce of silver, $1. 1 ounce of gold, 20 bucks. Now gold is, you got it, 2,000 bucks an ounce. It has gone up not 40 times, but 200 times. 200 times more valuable. Now gold was $35 an ounce. I think if you get a gold eagle or buffalo now, I think they're marked at 50 bucks or 40 bucks. I can't remember. Ooh, man, I need some of those. Why don't you, ooh, man, send me a gold ounce, would you? Send me, so that way I can tell everyone what that says is on there. I think it's actually stamped on the 1 ounce gold coin, $50. Okay, so it's just like silver. Has it gone up in value or has the dollar dropped? Either way, it's a store of wealth. It's a way to store your wealth, and it's very condensed, right? It's very condensed. You got a stack of $1 bills. It'll be this tall to get to 2,000, or 1 ounce of gold. 1 ounce of silver is 40 bucks to buy. Now, the spot price is $25. That's the New York Stock Exchange COMEX trading price. But silver, to buy it, is going to cost you 40. What's the difference? Well, the difference is what's called the premium. Yeah, meaning it actually is $40 in value because it's minted by the U.S. government. You can buy Britannias. You can buy Australian kangaroos. You can get them in gold and silver also. You can get Canadian maple leaf silver or gold. There's the Austrian mint. There's other private mints that just produce what are called rounds, and they have a lower premium, but they're still going to cost way more than the market value, which is called spot. Now, BRICS is an economic union, and it stands for Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. But there are a couple of dozen countries that are now part of it, and many other countries have petitioned to join. That's right, they petitioned to join. I believe Mexico is one of them. I believe Japan may even be looking at it. France, Emmanuel Macron of France, he asked to be invited, to be allowed to attend the BRICS conference in South Africa that's coming up on August 22nd. That's right, in 1 month. In 1 month, the end of this August, this coming month, they're going to meet. And BRICS, it has been released by Russia Today, RT, that they're going to announce that they're going to back an international currency. While the US dollar is destroying itself with inflation, BRICS is looking at creating a commodity-backed or gold-backed or a combination of precious metals and whatever GDP, if a country produces agricultural products or mining products, whatever their GDP is, it's going to back their currency, right? Or just be backed with gold. That's what they're doing. Now, if they do that, what does that say? That BRICS is it's valuing itself based on its production. Well, a country can't produce its way to wealth by cutting their nuts off or by allowing themselves to be invaded by third world losers. And by the way, folks, people in Europe who migrated there legally are not happy with these illegals that are being pumped into their countries and destroying the culture. These migrants that came to Europe and America Our country as well, yes. They came here legally. They learned the language. They became citizens. They understand the law, the culture, the traditions. They've agreed to participate in them, not destroy them. Right? Well, Europe and America, Canada, Australia, they're killing themselves, while the BRICS nations are saying, you know, we don't really want to have a part of any of that. We would like to not be a part of all of that Western stupidity and wokeism. Well, it was interesting, though. France, Macron decided he was going to invite himself down there. They told him no. Basically, hey, Macron, go fuck yourself. You're not invited. You're not one of us. You're not invited. You don't get to pretend like you're important, France, because you are ruining your country, your currency, your traditions, your culture, your income. You're ruining everything about France that made France great. France was a superpower, folks. They're a nuclear energy, nuclear weapons superpower. Not like America, not like the Soviet Union, Russia, not that big, but still. First world nation. Going down the drain now. I tell you. Anyways, that topic got me, Alan. It got me. Jolene, do we have someone next? Who is next up? It is Diorce, who's back again. Back again with a 1776 super chat donation. And he says, keep on keeping on. And I love hearing that saying, man. Joe Dirt. I love it. He says, as a former U.S. Navy sailor, Semper Fi, man. He says, I want to say Semper Fortis and Sic Semper Tyrannis. It's going to be rough going here on out. Seriously, man. Semper Fi, Semper Fortis, and Semper Sic Tyrannis. Always, always, always. God bless America. In 1776, folks, it matters. It truly does. Read the Declaration of Independence, and you'll go, what were they complaining about? Because compared to that, we've got a shitstorm on our hand. But I read it on July 4th. At the beginning of this month, I read the entire Declaration of Independence again, as I am wont to do on July 4th, Independence Day every year, so that people can hear and read what exactly they're talking about, what caused it. And every year, more and more, I see exactly what our government is doing and how it makes, right, the King of England look like just a regular dude. You know, not a giant tyrant, not a despot, not a murderous thug. Oh, yeah, he was all of those things. And so are the governments of today. Thank you, Diorce. Rock on, brother. Now, Jolene, who else do we got out there as we close down this self-defense Sunday Night Live? We've got Brad Jones with a with a $5 super chat donation. He says, thanks for the yurt update. I tell you, it's incredible. How can I just sit in the RMZ? I tell you what, if the United States of America, the continent here, north, south, east, west, if we got into a big shit and shooting match, the RMZ would probably light up as well and turn into a shit zone. There were gunshots every night in the jungle, folks. I ain't shitting you. First night, I was like, bam, bam. I'm like, what the fuck is going on around here? You know, when I got the yurt up, I'd hear it bang, bang. In the middle of the night, I'd look and make sure there's no holes in the fucking yurt, you know. They never hit it. I don't know who was shooting and why and what, but there was shooting every night. Did it make me nervous? A little bit. They'd also light off fireworks all the time. The rooster would go off. At about 4 a.m, I'm guessing it was fishermen leaving. I could just hear cars in the distance. I'm like, who is up at this time of day? Holy cow. Anyways, you're welcome, Brad. And I want to thank you for your great support. Jolene, who else do we have here? We have Diorce again with another $10 super chat donation. Woo! He says, all joking aside, non-ammunition lead has skyrocketed in value within the last few years. It has. It truly has. And so is copper. Copper has gone bonkers wacko. He says, gone are the days of buying scrap wheel weights for cheap and casting bullets and casting your own fishing weights. True. True. Us reloaders used to do that kind of stuff. Thank you, Jolene. We used to get lead weights. You'd buy bulk lead. You could melt it down and cast your own lead. You could cast your own shotgun shot. You could cast your own 38 or 45 slugs and load cheap. You'd also have to get waxed for your gas checks. I know the game, Dior's. I know it well. I had my Dillon progressive loader. I love that thing. I couldn't take it to the RMZ, though. They don't allow that sort of stuff in that zone of the world. They're like, you're reloading ammunition. We don't like guns here. But every night, bang, 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 bang. And all joking aside, truly, lead has skyrocketed. And not the ammunition type. Copper has skyrocketed. Gold is shot up, folks. It shot up to 2,000. We're right at 2,000 after the Great Recession. It shot up, and then it went down again. It checked back nearly, I think 45% back down from its low, and now it's back up. It's worked its way slowly back up to 2,000 an ounce. And it's set. It could go to 3,000 or 4,000 by the end of the year. It could get revalued. The COMEX could take a shit. They could revalue it if Russia and China want to open up an international market. If they did that and said, we're valuing gold at 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 an ounce, everyone who is investing money at 5,000 or 2,000 an ounce would say, the fuck are we doing over here? Right? Those who have gold, they're going to be putting it in this other exchange where it's valued much higher. That would be interesting. Yeah, gold has gone way up, lead is up, copper's up, silver's up. Silver is incredibly undervalued as well because it is not only a precious metal, it's a monetary metal. It is also an industrial metal, and it's a strategic high-tech weapons metal. It's a space metal. It's a solar powered metal, and it's not getting recycled. All the solar panels with silver in them, they're just getting dumped in the landfills. They're not recovering it, right? It's a renewable energy metal for solar production, but it's not being renewed. They're not taking the silver out of these panels. It's incredible. Silver is a space metal. Silver is a battery metal, and it's not being valued properly. Lead, I think, is good for a number of things. It's a great battery metal. It's also a great high-speed message delivery metal. Oh, my goodness. We've hit the 2-hour mark. I can run away. I can go put this bottle here of scotch back on the shelf. And I want to thank you guys for sharing so much of your ideas, thoughts, and concerns. And truly, I've got a ton of crap, I guess, I got to talk about the rest of the week. Except I don't need all the information that's happened this weekend because, number one, you've talked about it. Number two, by the time morning rolls around, some more incredible, crazy stuff will have happened. I want to thank you guys. Thank you, and thank you again for participating in this Sunday Night Live self-defense. Get prepared. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. Get prepared broadcast. It's a self-defense broadcast. And tomorrow, 0 Dark 30. Just as you've committed yourselves to me and watching this show, I'm committed to talking to you guys day in and day out about what's happening so we're all prepared. Share that message, folks, through the internet up top. Share the internet address. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you've hit the thumbs up bell, and I'll see you bright and early because chance favors the prepared mind. And aren't you glad you're a prepper? Oh, God bless. Semper Fi. God bless America.